Hey guys, and welcome to QualityShot. Carlos Alcaraz makes his first ever Masters 1000 title in Miami against the defending champion Hubert Hurkacz. What a match I've just witnessed. I've just done the live stream commentary for it. First of all, thank you to those who joined that. It was really fun. Apologies if there were a couple of moments where I was a little bit kind of in and out. I'm very tired. It was past midnight here in the UK, and it is still, I think it's it's past 2 a.m. now. So, and with a new baby as well in my midst, of course, you can imagine it's been a little bit tiring. But yeah, really, really interesting. 23 winners for Hurkacz, by the way, 37 unforced errors, 22 winners for Carlos Alcaraz, and 21 unforced errors. So you can see their difference just flashing on actually my screen now as I talk. And look, I mean, I thought it was a really, really good match. I don't think the stats of the winners and unforced errors quite give it justice when you think about how well I thought Hurkacz played a really good match. Generally, I think he served really well for the most part, and returning wise as well. I thought he made a lot of returns for the most part, and he got into the rallies. I think he'll be disappointed with some of the pressure points. He didn't quite, for me, play them as well as he could have. I think, if we're talking about who played better in those pressure points, it was definitely Alcaraz. And I know there's sometimes some interesting stats where it shows the percentage. I know in the Australian Open, there was, and I found it really interesting to see who won the higher percentage of pressure points out of each player in a match. And for me, if we saw those stats, and I don't think they have it here now, but I would have assumed that it was something along the lines of 80% towards Carlos Alcaraz. There are a lot of missed forehands from Hurkacz generally, and that has been a weakness in his game for a long time. But it was more the misses in those crucial points where he was, for example, in that tiebreaker. Because let's look at it from a more kind of holistic approach, and there were no breaks of serve, right? So it did come down to those two tiebreakers, and there were missed forehands in those tiebreakers. It doesn't really matter if he missed forehands in any of the games because they both held serve, right? So, in saying that, although he did miss a couple of forehands on break points, where of course he breaks there and then he wins that second set, then we go into the third set, and who knows? So I think that is worth noting, and I think a couple of volleys as well where he came to the net, and yes, they weren't easy volleys because Alcaraz hit very low passing shots at great velocity at him or to the side of him. And yes, if there weren't, complete dollies and, really easy volleys for him to hit, but they also weren't hard volleys either. They're volleys you'd expect him to make. And the fact that he was hitting them to the net, you could tell the frustration was there. And it kind of just bored to the surface the more and more the match wore on. And Alcaraz is that type of player because he gets to more balls than most people. He makes you play that extra shot, and he has so much in his arsenal. It's not just the passing shots, it's the lobs, which we saw today, and we have seen throughout the tournament, the fantastic backhand lobs that he's been able to execute throughout, on top of also the drop shot, which has been so good throughout the whole tournament. And the fact that, he was able to push Hurkacz back for most of the match and then utilize that drop shot is just, I think, a testament to how well he's been playing. For me, in the forehand to forehand exchanges, Alcaraz, of course, you would imagine had the better of it for the most part. However, Hurkacz had his moments where he was able to find timing on that forehand, you know, in those moments, he actually came up with some fantastic forehands to win points with outright winners, which you don't normally associate with Hurkacz's game. And I think the fact that he hit just as many winners as Alcaraz in the match, but then obviously hit more unforced errors probably is a testament to that he tried to probably, be more on the front foot. And I think coming to the net was the right option in a lot of the instances. I think he was very proactive, sliced a lot of times in the backhand, on the backhand side to Alcaraz's backhand, and that he had some success, had to make some fantastic volleys at times. But Alcaraz just too strong, and you felt throughout the whole match that Alcaraz was just always slightly in front. He was just playing slightly better. The returning was really good, I thought, generally from Alcaraz. There were a couple of games which just kind of passed by because Hurkacz was serving phenomenally well, and we can have a look and see here, and you'll see that in the match. Look at that, 13 aces, and that's not to say that these were aces which should have been returned. No, these were phenomenal aces. That doesn't even include the unreturnable serves, which you have to say again, like probably 80, 85, 90% of those serves wouldn't have been returned by anyone else. So, and I'm talking about anyone else in terms of like, Djokovic and Nadal, for example, best returners ever. So, that then increases the amount of returns he's actually even able to make. So you can see a first serve percentage as well, really high from Alcaraz. First serve points won, second serve points won as well at 70%, really impressive, showing that, behind the second serve, when it gets into the rallies, the longer the rally, the more chance he has of winning the point, no doubt, Alcaraz. And we saw that throughout the whole match. And I said that before as well. Hurkacz needed to shorten the points by coming to the net and being proactive and being slightly more aggressive than maybe he would have been comfortable being. The backhand at times looked really good from Hurkacz, and he's got a very kind of polished game for the most part. Just doesn't have huge weapons, which is why he likes to come to the net and finish the point. But what we saw from Alcaraz was that he's able to do what Hurkacz does, which is come to the net and finish off points. And he did that, on occasion quite often. But also he's able to be versatile. He's able to hit those lobs, those drop shots. He's able to hit from the back of the court as a baseline. And he's got different layers to his games and to his game even, sorry. And it's and the different layers to his game just shows a level of maturity that's well beyond his years. I mean, he's 18 and Hurkacz is 24, but I don't think I'm harsh in saying that. I think Alcaraz has got a more developed game overall. I think the only part of his game really that isn't as developed as Hurkacz's is a serve, and the serve from Hurkacz is elite for me. It's almost in the elite category. I think it's only just below the Opelka is in a Kyrgios category, and for me that's okay. That's your elite. Then Hurkacz slightly below that. That's kind of how I see it, and he was serving phenomenally well today, and kudos to him. And look, I think just didn't quite back it up as well as he would have liked. The second serve needs a little bit of work as well. It's probably not up to scratch considering how good his first serve is. But yeah, I mean, really impressive from both. And you can see his second serve return points, one really impressive at 55%. Will be a bit disappointed with that 19%. You can see it both had 3 breakpoint opportunities. Neither managed to take them. But yeah, I thought a really entertaining match. There were a couple of fantastic sequences, especially in that first set tiebreak, where I think the first 3 or 4 points, both players came to the net, right? So all points were finished off at the net. Really good to see. And there was one point which was, I think, in the end, ended up being Hurkacz on the net. Alcaraz kind of further back on the baseline, and they were kind of trading blows, and ended up being, I think, 8 shots kind of exchanged in that little sequence. And in the end, Alcaraz managing to lob Hurkacz in one of them. In the second one, there was another instance, and it was actually Hurkacz managed to get the better of Alcaraz. A couple of fantastic volleys, and then the backhand volley kind of behind Alcaraz had no chance of getting it back. It was an absolute pleasure to watch, and I'm really looking forward to the final, which is Alcaraz versus Ruud. I'll try and do a separate video to preview that. But thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Please remember to smash the like button, please, if you haven't done so already. And do subscribe to the channel as well. It does help us out a great deal. I do appreciate it. Alcaraz through to his first ever Miami Masters final, his first ever ATP Masters 1000 final. I'm sure there's some other records there. All I'm going to say is this guy and this kid, which I can rightfully say, is a revelation. He is the real deal. He is definitely someone who is coming, and doesn't know there's anything stopping him, to be fair. Hopefully he stays fit and healthy, and if so, it's just a matter of time, I think, until he starts making big strides at the Grand Slams as well. So let's see. For Hurkacz, though, a good tournament, the reigning champion, of course, but his reign ends. But made the semis here as well. It has nothing to be ashamed of. It was a good fight. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well.